Welcome to the season finale of the Target Score podcast. All of our friends over here. We got Reloan, Dylan, Gregory, Flexo. Is that Smirkio back there? Smirks. And Hazel, of course. Lovely wife of Flexo. Hey, glad to have everybody along. Apologies off the top to those tuning in live who have been waiting for us. We had a little bit of a problem here trying to get our tables at Fionn Maccool's, but it's all figured out. The food's coming in. Everybody's eating well. This, and of course, the stupid music. It wouldn't be a show if we didn't have the music played twice.
Hey, the music's good, at least.
It is really good.
Works out.
I'll say that. But yeah, very special on location. Our second live on location. This is Vic Selby. I'm Joey Slattery. Taylor Allen said, you know what? Go to hell. He didn't say that. Taylor Allen did not say that. But Taylor couldn't be here, and he's a little upset. He said he's got a little FOMO, but he'll be back. We're going to have some programming as well throughout the off season and here and there, so make sure that you have your notifications on. But this is a celebration, Vic. Let's everybody got a drink over there? Why is this happening? I'm not playing it a third time. And cheers to a great 2026, to the season of champions. Cheers. Oh, what a time. Vic, you're a super fan. You don't hide it. You've had a couple of weeks. Has it been a couple of weeks? I don't even know. It's been about 2 weeks, right? We're getting close.
Yeah, some of that. Yeah, we're getting there.
How does that feel for how have you been feeling these last 2 weeks?
You know what? It's amazing, Joey. Like the first week or so, it was kind of just like I'm just riding the high of the championship, just feeling good. A few days in, I started thinking, okay, I can finally rest now. The season's over. I feel like it's time to relax. And I've officially reached the point where I feel like I'm killing time until April again. I'm ready to go. CBL basketball, I'm 100% back, ready to go.
Not that this is not a basketball podcast, but I know you have some grievances to air, and I'm sure there are some Jets fans here with us as well.
Connor Hellebuck.
Go to Hellebuck.
Unfortunate day for the city of Winnipeg. I'm more than happy to send him wherever he would like to go. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying right now.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm not feeling good about what they're going to get in return. You're feeling a little bit better, but
get ready to learn Buffalo, pal.
Nonetheless, man, this has been a fun season this year. This has been a season that we've had our friends in Brampton. I know Matt Bonomi's watching in Brampton. D. Balsera, Chris Wiggins, Andrew Savory in Vancouver. We extended the network and hope to do so more moving forward. But this has been there's bugs everywhere. But this has been our busiest season yet. Kind of a crazy season too, Vic. I mean, this has been a season that had its highs and lows. I felt like it was such a great arc to the championship for the Winnipeg Sea Bears this year, simply because it started kind of back and forth, right? They start 4-4, building the team. You know, I thought the roster was built phenomenally throughout the season, right? Like we had some good players fill in at the start, and then, you know, as the season went on, you know, like losing an Armani Chaney, I wasn't too upset about it. We kind of saw it coming. It was a good opportunity for him. But then the adversity they hit right at the end. Like, that's the part that gets me every time. And I know, and if you guys disagree, I know you're lying, because I think once Jeremiah Tillman was gone and Acott was gone, I don't think the expectations where they were at the start of the season. Safe to say? Oh, Reloan says he might have skipped that game. No. You skipped that game. Oh, Reloan. That's okay. That's okay. But you know what? I give credit to the team because they fought to get you back. I think that's what made this team really special. I said it before. If the roster that we had at the end of the year, if that was the roster that we were shown at the start of the year, I think everybody would still be excited. Like having Xavier Moon there was huge. Trey McGowan's was huge. Isaiah Osborne, Simon Hildebrand being back. You know, I think had we not seen the Teddy Allens and the Jeremiah Tillmans, you know, and Emmanuel Acott, I don't think anybody would be like, oh, this season's a wash. But because you had all those and how quickly it all happened, it all made sense. But, you know, the depth for me on this team is what I'm going to remember the most. And not only that, how tight these guys were. Like, Vic, you were around them too. But it did seem like compared to last year where it felt like a lot of pros just here to get their contracts. And not they weren't playing hard, but it felt like there was a connection to the city with this team and a connection to one another.
Yeah, I thought it was a fundamentally different vibe from the team all year long. Like just speaking to the guys, being around training camp, being around all that stuff, you could just tell this group was different from Sea Bears teams in years past. And yeah, you mentioned the depth, and thank God they had it, because I think for a whole lot of the season it was really just looking like, wow, like they got 10, 11 guys you can just keep rolling. But then it resulted in, at the end of the day, when you only had 7 or 8 of them, hey, they were good 7 and 8, and ended up getting it done.
Matt Bonomi says on the chat, play that song. So the people here, good thing for you guys, we played the intro song 3 straight times. And we do apologize that we're looking over this way because we're caught between 2 tables. And so it'd be natural for us to be here. But the way it was set up, we have everybody way over to our left and you guys here. So we apologize for the awkward kind of moving around here. We've got, sorry, John. It says we've got some lagging here. John McTavish says he wishes he could be here. Everybody say hi, John. Hi, John. And Cam, too. Cam couldn't make it, but Cam lives like in the middle of nowhere, I'm pretty sure, right? So where is this? Like Selkirk? Is that where you are? Okay, once we have a little bit of room here, I was hoping if you guys are up for it at some point, we're gonna get a few of you guys on, ask you some questions, and get you to share some stuff. I know Flexo has been waiting for this. Flexo is really upset. Exo, now Flexo 204, came on his lunch break, put his whole career in jeopardy to show up in Monday's Cafe the other day. And he wasn't on, and I think he was a little upset. So we're gonna get Flexo on, and we got some gift certificates too. There's enough for everybody, but let's have a little trivia fun first. We'll start off with the first question. Vic, you can't answer. I could see you. You're like, I'm in. Who was the Sea Bear? Who scored the first Sea Bears basket in franchise history? Glenn Yang. Glenn Yang, gift certificate for Flexo. 1 out of the way. All right, we'll keep going as we move forward here. Matt Bonomi's actually saying he needs you to lift the entire patio up.
What the hell? Is that what he's saying? Hell no.
Oh, what's that, sorry? Oh, is he jumping in the chat? We got Flexo in the chat. But, as we look back on this season, I mean, a little bit of a look ahead, too. One of the things that were interesting, I think if you guys probably tuned into the post-game show, like after the championship, right? The one thing that...
on replay. I didn't know you were live.
Oh, you watched it on replay?
Yeah, I didn't know you were live. I was watching it when after I was basically, thank God there was no game 3 because I would have been out like a light. So I just basically binge watched the post-game show and on replay with my big Samsung.
I love it. So Gregory's saying that he didn't catch it live, but he watched the replay.
Yeah, I didn't know you were live because I'm thinking, what? You had a post-game thing? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was my favorite setup of the whole season too. It looked awesome. But one of the things that struck me from that was David Asper's interview. How quickly he was saying, like, yeah, we've won, but we have to look to 2027, right? Like I feel like as much as we're enjoying this and the fans are enjoying this, it feels like the work is already starting here to ensure that they can carry the momentum. I thought this was a perfect time for Winnipeg to win the championship. It's never a bad time. But what I'm getting at is, they've been here for a few years, and I know fans were getting a little frustrated with the turnover, right? And it's like you kind of fall in love with a player, and that player goes off overseas, whatever the case may be. And I felt like it kind of boiled over a little bit this year in the playoffs, right, when it started. And this team put together, I don't want to call it a Cinderella run, but it was definitely a magical run that they put together. And I think that kind of won people over. Like, I think that having the 12,500 fans there, sharing in that moment. I mean, it's a core memory for all Sea Bears fans. I know many fans that watch this. Schnitzy's one of them, probably watching too. They were, 5, 6 years old going to this game. That's going to be a core memory. They won't remember a time without the Winnipeg Sea Bears.
I'm 26. It's a core memory.
Gregory, what's that, Gregory?
I did some that Grand Theft Auto. Took some streamers and the confetti off the portraits. So yeah,
good stuff.
Oh, I've got a bag of confetti in my backpack still.
So that's the one thing I didn't grab. I didn't grab confetti. Denung, D. Balsera from Brampton, went and grabbed a whole bunch because right off the top of the show, he threw it up. But we never thought, like, everything's so busy. I didn't think to grab, like, one of those things. I have a piece of the floor from 2026.
That's pretty sweet.
I just basically did like a floor scrape of something confetti.
And then you snagged it?
And just put it in when the juicing bands and stuff and streamers and stuff, and I'm not going to touch this.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, but I think the thing is now is like that's the expectation. I think that's what's going to be a little bit difficult as we look ahead to next year because we go through this, and we'll get to the whole what it meant for the league. But man, as much as winning is great, as we know, when you become a championship team, that now becomes the new bar and the new expectation. How tough of an offseason is this one? Because you want to enjoy it, but on the same token, you got to keep momentum going.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joey, I think this is going to be by far the most interesting protected list announcement that we've seen in the Seabears history so far. I am incredibly interested to see who's on that list. And you know what? I thought Seabears fans got a really encouraging bit from that right off the bat, just in the post-game interview where Xavier Moon said, hey, hopefully we can do it again next year. Just saying, if Xavier Moon's coming back, I'm feeling pretty positive no matter who's back. Looking at the rest of the team, I think I think we can safely assume Simon Hildebrand almost certainly back. A few guys like that. A lot of dudes I would love to have back. Honestly, there really isn't anybody on this team who I wouldn't be happy to see back. But I think it's going to be a very, very interesting protected list. And I really think that the goal is going to be, let's get as many of these guys back as possible. I can't really imagine anybody who they aren't thinking, hey, we could really use this guy next year for sure.
NSD, no one here is NSD 8445, right? The mystery of NSD says, Joey, make sure we get Xavier Moon back. Great timing to bring that up because the one thing about Xavier Moon, though, he brought up a great point after that championship game. Talked about he came back this year because he didn't play a full season, right? He was coming off of injury. So this made a lot of sense because between the half of the season that he played in Russia and the half that he played here, the 5 games or 8 games it ended up being, but still he was here training. That was part of his rehab and getting back into the rhythm. He said he didn't expect to be back. I would love to see him back, and part of me thinks there will be, there's a chance, but I'm not banking on it. How do you feel about Xavier Moon coming? You seem like you're a lot more optimistic about it.
I always try to be the optimistic Winnipeg sports fan, for sure. But yeah, you know what? Honestly, I can see a world he comes back. We'll see. You know what? I thought it was encouraging. Like, he is playing overseas. He signed with actually a new team in Italy, which is interesting. They've never played a season before, and he's playing for them this year. Their season wraps up a little bit before the Russian one, which is fantastic news for me in the event that he does come back. And you know what? I'm optimistic he does end up here, but we'll see. There's a lot of moving pieces. One thing I know for sure, though, is that the Seabears have shown no lack of willingness to make big moves, bring in big pieces. And if it's not Xavier Moon, it's going to be someone exciting. Yeah. And kind of no matter what, it's going to be great. But I have to imagine that Xavier Moon is the number one name on the list going forward. I don't know how he wouldn't be.
Dylan, a.k.a. D. Frosty, brings up a great point. Pretty sure there'll be some high-level players interested in joining the Seabears after seeing Winnipeg on that stage.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. And the funny thing is, I'm a little less interested in the protected list this year. As much as I'm excited to see who's coming back, the other part of me is who knew is going to get here? Because you got to think there's a lot of players across the league that said, that have always liked playing in Winnipeg. Now Winnipeg's put out a championship team. I think there's going to be a bit more interest from players around the league or players that have been tiptoeing around the league and haven't come here yet that might be thinking, you know what? Instead of playing closer to Toronto or, in Calgary or Edmonton, maybe I will go to a Winnipeg. I think the reputation there is – what's that? There is only one basketball. That's the trick. Gregory says there's only one basketball. I agree with you, and I think that's where the general manager comes in, though. Now you got to find the guys that are going to share that basketball. Teddy Allen, I mean, think about it. We didn't get a big sample size, but with Teddy Allen and Xavier Moon, with a player like Xavier Moon, he's not looking for the shots only, right? He's looking for the best play. And if you get a player like Teddy to buy in, which hey, there was a 54-point game and Xavier had a double-double. It's not like he didn't score at all, right? So the other thing is, does Teddy Allen come back? He's played here now, 3 of the last 4 years in the CEBL. And who knows what's on the horizon for him. I saw some videos today. It looks like he's up and practicing and recovering from his injury, which is great to see. But I don't know how that team looks next year with or without Teddy Allen, with or without Xavier. But I wouldn't be shocked if we get another duo or another trio that is going to rock our socks with, of names that we just couldn't have anticipated, because no one anticipated Xavier Moon. until it was announced.
100%. Yeah, there will be a big name coming in here, no matter what. I'm very certain of that. Is it going to be Teddy Allen coming back? I don't know. You know, if you look at some Instagram comments underneath some of the awards announcements, you might be led to think maybe he's not coming back. But you never know. We thought that before. Honestly, if you had told me literally 10 minutes before Teddy Allen was signed this year, you know, what's less likely than Teddy coming back to the Winnipeg Sea Bears, I would have said probably nothing in the world.
Yeah.
And then he was a Sea Bear again. So you never know, really. I think a lot can change in this league, just the dynamics of it. So many things change so fast. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I can see it. I'll definitely say this to Sea Bears fans. If Teddy Allen is back in the CEBL next year, I just don't see a world that's not here. But is he going to be back in the league? I don't know. It really depends. You know, if you look at where he is in his career, he's kind of at the point where a lot of really high performing G League guys like him say, okay, you know what? It's time to cash in. Let's go to Europe. Let's get that big money offer, head over there instead of playing in the G League. He hasn't made that decision yet. Yeah. He keeps sticking in the G League and running it out. I think he's at a really interesting point in his career, and I'm super curious where he's going to end up. And yeah, I wonder if it's Winnipeg. We'll see.
Will not hurt if the team had one or two bigs on the roster, because I was looking
so Gregory's saying that it wouldn't hurt if they had one or two bigs on the roster.
Because, put it this way, there was one honey badger that basically pulled down a game by 16 boards.
Yeah.
So if that game was tight,
they also lost the rebound battle to Saskatoon, right?
Well, and you know what, on that note, I thought it was really interesting. I thought out of all the guys who left, you know, right towards the playoffs, Jeremiah Tillman Jr., I think most of us would agree was kind of the one where it was like, oh God, you know, Emmanuel Acott, you know, that hurt, but I kept looking at, okay, you know, we've got Simon Hildebrand, we've got some guys, we've got some wing options, you know, Teddy Allen, oh man, that sucks, but okay, we have Xavier Moon. Tillman was the one where it was like, okay, what are we doing here? They hadn't shown a ton of confidence in some of the other bigs on the roster. And I was looking at Sask in that first game and saying, man, Jaden Bediako's on the other side here. And then this is true, 4 minutes into the game, he had grabbed 6 rebounds and the Sea Bears were winning still. But I was sitting there at the media table thinking, man, he's got 6 rebounds 4 minutes into this game. If he ends up with 25 rebounds, I just don't know that we're winning this game.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? DJ Burns, I think the unsung hero for a lot of this. What a performance down the stretch. I thought that
he was phenomenal.
I told him after the game, I went right up to him and I said, DJ, we do not win this without you. If you did not step up into this role, there's no way we do it. I think he was absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, like you mentioned there, like just talking about how, you know, just looking at the roster at the end of the season, if that was the roster at the beginning, we'd all be pumped. I totally agree. And I feel like it was also just a really good fit with the way Mike Rainbow plays. You know, if you see him play, if you see his Westman teams play, he often doesn't play with a center.
No, he's known for his undersized, overlooked, undervalued players. And I think there were a lot of guys that felt that way. I don't think they are from a day to day, but I think after, you know, what they were seeing on social media and people kind of giving up on the team was, all right, we're being undervalued, and Mike Rainbow seems to be the guy that can get the most out of that. If there were a most valuable role player, it would go to DJ Burns.
Oh, man.
This year. I don't think that that should be an award, the most valuable role player, because I think you're right. Without DJ Burns, how he stepped up, particularly in the playoffs, he was valuable. John says he can't see Kyler coming back with the little floor time that he got this year.
Yeah.
Seemed to play with a chip on his shoulder in the playoffs, which I agree. It's a tough one for him, though, because he's from here. Like, I think that's the hard part is like you want to be a part of the team, but if there's no better opportunity and they're willing to take you back, that's a tough decision, I have to imagine, for a local kid. Because I thought Kyler, when he did play, it was a little bit unfair in the sense that he's coming off and he was usually late in the second, maybe early in the third, right cold, and then he would get a foul called against him right away. It was hard for him to get into a rhythm, right? So,
you know what? Yeah, I completely agree. And I thought that when we really did need him, he stepped up. In that Vancouver game, I don't think Kyler played more than 5 or 6 minutes in that game. Those were a big 5 or 6 minutes, though.
Oh, big.
Like, those were a big 5 minutes, man. And like in basketball, it's like, as a coach myself, nowhere near the professional level, but as a high school coach, I always tell my guys who aren't playing as much.
Well, this just in, Vic Selby taking over Mike Rainbow as head coach and general manager.
You never know. Call me, David. Call me. But like, man, I always try to tell the guys who are playing 5-6 minutes, you can change the course of this game. You can make a huge impact in those 5 minutes. And that's what Kyler did against Vancouver. Those are 5 minutes that made a huge impact in the result of that game.
Kyler was vocal about the frustration going into the playoffs, which is totally fair and valid. I don't think anybody else holds that against him. He's a competitor. He wants to play. But I do feel like this team had that next man up mentality in terms of, I might not be playing 30 minutes a game, but if I get that 10, I'm going to make the most of it. Right?
Yeah.
Like there weren't like down the stretch, there was like that 3-game or 4-game stretch after the Teddy 54 game where things felt a little uneasy. I think it was such a good start that it kind of threw off the rest of the regular season, right? And then urgency picked up, not only because it was the playoffs, but because you lost all these players. Now there's no overthinking. You're kind of fighting for your lives. There are no, like, the expectations went from, hey, you're a favorite to win the CBL championship to, well, we hope we get out of the first round. I think a lot of people thought it might be a first-round exit again, right? And then I think that momentum builds. You win that first game, and then, okay, we got that out of the way. Now we're in Vancouver. Pressure's on Vancouver. You play really well. And then you come back home, and when I saw the 12,500 people, I kind of expected that slow start. You know, I think everybody was a little jacked up and ready to go. And like Isaiah Osborne was missing layups. What's that?
3 in a row that started really slow.
Yeah, it was an anxious start.
Which I kind of,
anxious
I wasn't surprised. Wasn't surprised about that. I felt like they responded, though. And once they got the rhythm, and once that first shot goes in, you hear 12,500 people. They don't hear that any point this season. I don't think they played in a single game with 10,000 people. So I think so too.
I'm thinking, okay, I think the guys are tight. I'm thinking, okay, relax.
Yeah.
Because to me, the atmosphere was.
Gregory's saying that he felt that the team was a little.
Felt like if you follow NCAA football.
Yeah.
College Station, Texas.
Yeah.
Which is the home of Texas A&M. 101,000 fans.
Yeah.
It felt like that atmosphere.
Good point.
Mixed in with a game 7 of the NBA in
Yes.
that building. And I think
So for the viewers, Gregory's saying he's comparing it to like game 7 of the NBA finals with College Station, Texas A&M, where they have like 100,000+ people for games, and saying that the players were tight coming out. And I totally agree. Stat Guy Ty, I just want to get to this comment. What's up, Stat Guy Ty? Says reminder of last year's protected list. So just to give you an idea of what the protected list could mean in the end. So last year's protected list was Trayvon Scott, who didn't even sign with the team initially before coming to Winnipeg. Will Richardson, who did not return.
Hey, retired Will Richardson.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't
Will
even know
Richardson's
that.
not playing basketball anymore, yeah.
That's crazy. Emmanuel Acott, who did come back. Mo Kalou, who I thought was going to come
shout
back.
out Mo Kalou.
Simi
Winnipeg legend.
Shitu, Nate Balamu, who did come back, Kyler Filowich, who did come back, and Jalen Harris, who did not. So just because a player's on the list does not necessarily mean they're coming back. And it doesn't necessarily mean if they do come back to the CBL, they're coming back to Winnipeg. Like we saw guys, was it Calgary where Trayvon Scott played a couple of games before coming back. I thought Mo Kalou was going to come back at some point, and especially towards the end when I'm losing my train of thought here. Jeremiah Tillman Jr., but it'd been too late.
Yeah.
But it's like there's those Canadians where I'm like, if they would have had the money, especially when Xavier Moon, when we didn't know if he was coming back, I'm thinking, all right, well, there's some cap space for a guy like a Simi Shitu or even a Mo Kalou if you want to go with a couple of like small, like maybe lower contract options for bigs. But it didn't seem to matter. Like that's the other thing. They knew how to play small.
Yeah.
And I think that was the key to this team. You don't necessarily need the bigs. And I think you're willing to live with losing the rebound battle as long as you're fighting. Because the other thing was, even though they were giving up some rebounds, they weren't giving up many second chances. They weren't giving up many scoring opportunities from it. And they were battling hard. And they weren't allowing a lot of transition in those playoff games either. So and I think where they adjusted well, their transition slowed down, the Sea Bears. And they were able to get in the half-court set. And that's where Xavier Moon proved his value tenfold, right? Being able to get into the paint. And he's got this way of like pulling in, getting his foot in the paint, and then just slowing everything down. It's like this little pullback. And then everybody pops up. And then that's where it's like his antennas go off, where he's like option 1, 2, and 3. And he makes that decision in half a second. That's where I thought they were phenomenal. Okay, real quick. We've got another gift certificate here. There's the newest the FIBA window's happening right now. So there's a lot of CEBLers on Team Canada. Who is the one member of Team Canada who played for the Sea Bears? Yeah, David Wencat. There it is. Rolo, and you get one. David Wencat, which another guy who ended up going. I thought maybe he'd come back to Winnipeg, but he enjoys playing close to home, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But and even with Scarborough, he was there for what, like 3-4 games. Like
No,
I thought it was like when they got them, I'm like, man, the rich get richer. Like Scarborough looked ridiculous all season, but they never had all of them playing at the same time, which was crazy. But hey, they got knocked out in the first round. Got a little bit of Sea Bears medicine from pre-2006.
Yeah, man, and just to give fans at home, like some insight, fans at home and here, some insight kind of into just how
26.
special this team was.
What did I say? Season 6? 2026. Whatever, man. We're in a time warp.
Yeah.
Time doesn't matter.
Man, showing up at that Saskatchewan playoff game, I showed up like 3 hours before the game, and there was just a couple of guys on the court warming up, and Trey McGowan's came right up to me, and I went, "How you feeling, Trey? Like, how you boys feeling?" And he went, "Feel just as good as we did a week ago." And in that week span, they lost 3 guys, including 2 starters. And he went right up to me and said, "Yep, no, just as good as we did a week ago."
That was Trey McGowan?
Trey McGowan said that. And then as soon as he said that, I texted my wife. I said, "We're winning this game. Like we're still winning this game." Just watching those boys, they were dialed in, man. And I was just, that whole time period in between losing those guys, it was just me telling fans and myself, we got Xavier Moon, man. He's the best player in the history of the league. We got Xavier Moon. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And it really was fine. It just was. Beautiful stuff, man.
I'm looking forward to getting your takes on this, and chime in on the chat. I just put it up for those that are watching from home. Silver Tip Trilla says, hot
Great
take.
name.
Teddy Allen's time in Winnipeg should be over. They should really consider the different dynamic without Teddy being a part of the team. How do you feel about that? Because my thing is Teddy Allen's an all-timer. Like, regardless of what happens, Teddy Allen's number will be up in the rafters. We will be celebrating number 8 forever. But at the end of the day, like, he's in his prime right now. He's been here a ton, and honestly, I don't think it was him leaving that the team got better per se, but for me, it was the team didn't miss a step either.
Mm-hmm.
Like the team, I think it was more desperation than a gelling with Teddy thing. I think it was just like, we have no one to look to anymore. We can't depend on a Teddy Allen to get us 30, 40 points. We still have Xavier Moon, but everybody else had to chip in other areas, because we can't forget Teddy Allen was also a top 10 rebounder and top 3, I think, in steals, right? And he was how many assists did he have? It was like, it's that guy Ty will bring it up, but he was he was well over 5-6 assists a game. Yeah. So it's not like he was just a one-trick pony. So I don't buy that without Teddy Allen, they're a better team. But I just don't know if it's like as integral as it once was to have him back.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I actually think that we started to see that a little bit in his final home game in Winnipeg, the one against Brampton that we lost. You know what? Just watching that game, there was a stretch where like we were down at half, and we really rallied in the third quarter, and we're just completely rolling. And the lineup that was out there was largely the lineup that opened the finals.
Yeah,
like because Teddy Allen was in foul trouble in that game. He didn't play much in the third quarter. And like this, like you, I'm not saying at all that like the Seabears team was better without Teddy. I'm not saying anything like that. But I do think that in that game, in that moment, they looked better in that situation. And when he finally came in right before target time, I thought you could see like the kind of some of the balance of the team was just off a little bit. I thought when Xavier Moon was running the show in that scenario, and sometimes Tillman was out there, sometimes he wasn't. I just thought in that game we looked better. And that was the first time all year where I thought, this is really interesting. I'm curious how this looks. And then that right there was the sample size, like small, but it was the sample size that made me feel better when we knew that Teddy was probably not going to be with us down the stretch.
Roloan says Teddy is unique. And then Jedall says the team didn't miss a step without Teddy, but that speaks to how well this team is done and how lucky we are to have Coach Mike Rainbow. I do like that take. He also says, or they also say, he had grown a lot. He did so great this season. We need to stand behind him, that's the part I agree with. For me, it's more if Teddy isn't available, I don't think it's as dire as it was, right? I think if you don't have Teddy, listen, we're focusing on the playoffs like there wasn't a 24-game regular season that he carried that team for the first half, right? I mean, and he wasn't doing it just by scoring. He got other guys involved. He was doing a little bit of everything. His defense was the best when they needed it to be the best. it did kind of lag a little bit in terms of like on the stat sheet. He wasn't getting as many steals towards the end, but not to say that he wasn't defending. But when they needed him most, when the team was at its thinnest, which was that like 2 to 3 weeks into the season, if you don't have Teddy Allen, we're not talking about this championship. That's even with Xavier Moon
100%.
coming in, right? We can't take away everything Teddy did because he wasn't there for the playoffs. It was an unfortunate situation.
100%.
I think everybody does stand behind Teddy. He will forever be a celebrated sports personality in this city, especially with the Sea Bears. He will always be Mr. Sea Bear, and that's no disrespect to Xavier Moon, but Xavier Moon has his championship with Winnipeg. He's always going to be that. I'm trying to think of what a good comparison would be for Xavier Moon. Like a Kawhi Leonard.
Kind of Kawhi, yeah. That was
right?
the first
Like
one
comes
that came to
in,
my mind.
will always be remembered for that, but like he was a stinger, right? He played 3 years there, got all of his accolades there. And he'll always have a special place in Winnipeg, but I don't think he will, at least not in a season or two. It would take him to coming back for a few years before we start saying like greatest Sea Bear ever is Xavier. I still think the argument goes to Teddy. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be Teddy, and I completely agree with you. Like there's no way, even though he wasn't there in the playoffs, we don't win the championship without Teddy Allen. For sure, we needed him to just like I don't even want to say carry because like the team was so deep, but I just thought he had such a prominent role offensively where he was just whenever we needed a basket, the ball was going to Teddy Allen, man. And just once Xavier Moon showed up, we got that organizer.
Yeah.
But before we had that, it was Teddy, man. And I completely echo your point on the defensive end of the ball. I thought Teddy did not get nearly enough credit defensively. And like, yeah, there's the stats and the blocks, cool. You know, he got some of those, but like, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about him just D'ing up people. He was guarding people. Like, I didn't think Teddy was this revolving door that people seem to be talking like he is. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe some of the discourse hadn't changed where I was seeing people talk about how bad Teddy was, how bad Teddy is on defense. And I was like, have you watched the CBL this year?
That's the problem. And like going back to the MVP voting and not to open that can of worms, but I felt like that, like there's a little bit of narrative. I thought, as I said before, Tyrese Samuel was a reputation Canadian player of the year because he won it last year. I don't think he was Canadian player this year. I don't even think he was the best Canadian on his team in Vancouver. Oh, let's wave to everybody. Hi. We have planes flying over top of us.
Military night at the stadium. That's why they just had a military plane.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
Bombers are playing. Or that's tomorrow,
tomorrow.
right? That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. But going back to that the reputation, Teddy unfairly gets the reputation that because he scores so much, he doesn't do anything else. And if it's not even this year, Vic, if you look at his entire CBL career, like he's a guy that is like consistently been a tenacious defender and a playmaker. It just so happens is that his top weapon is scoring, and he can do it in ways that other people can't. And we've talked about this before, right? When Teddy isn't hitting his shots, people say, what is he doing out there? Right? Not thinking that those are also the shots that he hits. And when you're hitting, you're just like, oh, what a great scorer. But that's the up and down with it. Oh, Flexo's thinking.
No, just like talk about that. I agree. Like the good shot diet, like his shot selection.
Here, can I get your headset for a bit?
Watch sometimes, but like when he hits them.
Flexo, take a seat beside us here.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll unmute it when he gets here. And while Flexo is getting here, there was one player in the last FIBA window, like in the winter, that played for Team USA that also played on the Sea Bears this year. And there's a story that this player was mad at another player because they pulled his jersey, and he said, this will be the only Team USA jersey I'll ever get. Any guesses as to who that is? They played for the Sea Bears this year after playing for Team USA at the FIBA World Cup qualifier. What'd you say? Want to give a hint?
He said Tilly in the corner there. I'm not sure.
You said Tilly?
I don't know the answer. So
Smirkio.
There we go.
Smirkio. Also, thanks to Fionn Maccool for all these gift certificates that we will be giving away. Sorry if you're not here. Also found out Jedal is Gene. I don't know if you know Gene and Juliet, but what's up, Gene? Too bad you couldn't make it, but glad that you're here on the chat. I agree with this. Gregory says Xavier Moon is the CBL. I would say Michael Jordan. He says LeBron James. He's the Michael Jordan. What's that? Oh, I know he does. I know. But it's Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan's the real greatest of all time.
Oh no, that's not.
It's a man of culture right here.
Go into that.
Xavier Moon doesn't bring
Me
his
and Dylan
buddies
are going
to
to
join
fight
him.
live on the stream.
Xavier Moon wants to fight the best, and he takes all those receipts, and he goes out and wins. So not like LeBron James getting all his friends involved. Dylan's gonna blow.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, hey, Flexo, what's up, man?
What's up?
Here, let's get you off mute so you can talk here. So
Hey.
we're gonna have a little fun with fans. So if in the chat, feel free to send some questions here to Flexo. But Flexo, give us your thoughts, buddy. This has been a couple of weeks. You're on the chat all the time. You're watching every show. You're watching all the games. How has these last 2 weeks been? I know it's sad that the Sea Bears aren't playing, but man, what a high.
Yeah, what a high. Honestly, watching that game live was just spectacular. And I don't know, like David Asper had a quote about like kind of taking everything in like right before like the target time, the last 3 minutes, and like me and my friends and my wife, when we were watching, we did that too. And it's like just to see the upper bowl full and like actually looking back and everyone looking at the court, and like it was phenomenal. Like that kind of experience, I don't think, like unless we go back to the finals next year, like I think it's this first championship, like it just can't be recreated. It was just magic. And even to your point, you interviewed me about this when Teddy Allen was getting signed. You mentioned that this team had kind of that magic, that spark, that our inaugural season, like our 2023 season. And I agree with that. Like you talked about signings with getting Teddy back, and then look even later down the line, like I don't know if that was in the cards, but getting Jelani Watson-Gale back, like having Simon, right? Like it's just all those pieces, and like it's what a hallmark, like great ending to have it on a win, like on a really big high. But to answer your question of the last couple of weeks, it's settling in now. Like it's like, yeah, like we have to defend. You're thinking about next year, and it's only during the summer, but it's going to be interesting going into the off season and like protected list, like of how important that we see that like at this point, and thinking about who wants to come back, who wants to play for Winnipeg, right? It's a lot of great things to look forward to. I always look forward to those things. It's going to be a good off season.
That was my favorite part. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that was probably my favorite part of this team. Because Jelani said it in the first playoff game when they won, where he's like, I was here for year one, where we felt we got, upset for that playoff game when EJ Anasike left, right? And for him to be here with Simon Hildebrand, it's too bad that Teddy wasn't there either. But, you had Jelani, you had Simon. Teddy was nearby. It would have been great if he was there, but it was great to see these guys that were impact players in 2023, kind of like a bit of a full circle moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for fans, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it had to be a little bit nice after those years, especially last year, where people were like who's coming in? And it's great that we're getting these big names, but I don't know who's who anymore. And I don't know who's going to be on the team next week. And for this year to have that happen and be a guy from 2023 who we still talked about, which is the other thing. People still talk about
the
these
closer,
players.
like
right?
That nickname. It's like he's tied for target score winners. Like,
and you talk about championship game. But it's not for his first half. We just talked about Teddy in that first half of the season.
Yeah.
Man, imagine if we didn't have Jelani in that game. We're not wearing these shirts.
Yeah. I think about the game, like him closing that game in Saskatchewan, here playing against Saskatoon. Like he popped off. Like he sent us home for that game. It was great having him. But,
okay. You've got fans on the chat, Flexo, which we actually have to look into changing your name to Flexo. So we've got Bonomi was one of the first ones to get in, saying, "Fellas, Flexo, less talking, more lifting." Smirkio says, "Exo is too buff. Don't be mean. It's his first time on camera." Smirkio also wants to know how many reps to get buff like you.
Okay,
How many reps?
how many reps?
Just a solid total
Appreciate
reps.
the comments.
And Bonobi does say he loves the passion. Flexo, all caps every time he says it.
You know what? I'm so glad you finally won the flex cam.
Okay.
It was so undeserved. Like I get it that you give it to a kid every time, and that's cool. But you know what, man? You've been running the bit where you don't do it the entire season until the final end. He finally does it last year, and he didn't win. I almost stormed the court last season when that happened. That was wild. But so when you finally won it this year, I was sitting in there. I was like, wow, I felt like this tremendous injustice has been righted.
I appreciate it. It's
Thank
funny.
God.
We had a watch party.
It
It was at the Winnipeg Brewery or something. Like we had a watch party here in Winnipeg, and Max Asper, like I think he's with like production. Like,
legend, by the way.
Yeah, he actually approached me. He was like, "Hey, yeah, you're the guy on the flex cam. Like we point to you." I was like, "Yeah, but the past two seasons, you guys have been trying to find me." And he was asking me straight up. He's like, "Do we make you uncomfortable? Like, do you want us to?" I was like, no. I was like, I love, like, it's funny when me and my wife will go like to games, or we walk the concourse before games, and people will bring it up, and it's good because it brings a sense of community, like how this podcast does. It brings a lot of fans together where it's hard to with a stadium or like a venue of like 10,000 people.
Yeah.
It's hard to like actually get to know people, talk ball, or like, you know, so it's good. I always get the interaction, be like, are you going to do it today? It's like, probably not. Like, don't expect me to. It's like,
Well,
Yeah.
the one thing that's kind of cool about it too is like how fans kind of carve their own niche with the Sea Bears too, right? Like you're the flex guy on the camera. Now we know it's Flexo.
Yeah.
But you've got Teal Lady. Have you guys seen her? She
Yeah, of
like
course,
head
yeah.
to toe in like the
what a
avatar.
commitment.
That is commitment.
That is commitment.
Yeah.
I saw it in the bus, I'm thinking, holy.
Yeah.
Everyone's like afraid if you don't know the Sea Bears. Like I'm not sitting
This
beside
has
her.
context. Yeah.
Where's the camera? Where's the camera?
My first question is does that come off? I said,
Fair.
yes. I said, okay, does your boss approve?
It looks like so much work.
It's
to put all
always
that
on.
Like, yeah, that effort is phenomenal.
Yeah,
That
effort's
takes
And then
hours.
you've got
like,
Tracksuit Brothers as well.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Tracksuit Brothers, I think, were the first ones to really like pop off.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the best part. It's like it's a massive fan base compared to the rest of the league, but it's still close in that community, which has been really fun. And I appreciate you saying that about the podcast because that's been the best part. Like since we started doing the live shows, right? Like we would get the DMs and stuff like that, but it's nice to talk to everybody in the moment, right? Like hardest time sometimes is I get too caught up in the comments trying to get everybody on that I forget we have a show going on. But no, but it's that's been a real fun part as well. What are your hopes for next season? Obviously, you know, a championship, but based on the last few years, I mean, as you're kind of dreaming ahead to 2027, what are you hoping to see? It could be anything. It doesn't have to be like the basketball team. It could be the CBL as a whole. It could be the team. It could be.
Glad you brought that up with CBL as a whole. Me and my friends are actually talking about this. Like we talk about like expansion and, you know, like making the league bigger. Honestly, like it sounds like completely out of left field. We need a commissioner. We need a face of the league because all of the things that happened over the past, like before, like playoffs and everything like that, we talked about like having a face to explain what's going on, what happened in Brampton, what happened with the big kerfuffle in Scarborough, right? Like we need a face to tell us what's going on. Like we need a commissioner. We need someone to kind of set the record straight, right? So they need to focus on doing that, I think. And even before looking at expansion, honestly, looking at like the smaller leagues and like seeing what else we can do with them. I had a friend who went to Saskatoon. It was crazy. He went to their locker room sale, and he's crazy. He got like 3 jerseys and shorts. They were like $10 each. And I was thinking, they had like Shane Alciande jerseys. They had stuff from like their like legacy sales. So like all their old Rattler stuff, they were just trying to offload. And I'm thinking to myself, I went to this year's locker room sale, like right at 11. Passionate fans, people walking out with Moon jerseys, Burns jerseys, like, and there's like props to like Asper for getting everyone in on it. Like the prices were a little crazy, but just trying to get the community, like they talk about community, getting their communities involved. Like just looking at the Saskatoon, for example, like they need, I don't know if it's marketing, they need to like just get the word out there. Like sometimes I feel like that here. It's like we wanted to get the record for the attendance, right? But we need like other smaller markets, like whether it's maybe their venues are too expensive. Like I know like they don't like do numbers like us, but like there needs to be some kind of like we don't want the league to die down, right? Like now we're focusing on Vancouver's numbers or our numbers, right? We're putting the league like the revenue on their backs, but like there needs to be talks about the smaller markets, whether it's talent draw, right? Whether it's like marketing and getting people involved. Like maybe that starts up at the top, getting a commissioner to like say these things that what the gaps are, right? Like because like my thing is, like I'm excited for Sea Bears next year, but like looking at this as a whole for the CBL, like that's the forward thinking. Like we need a leader, and then everything else is a waterfall effect in terms of how the league can grow. We need it to grow. Like we can't just be content with stagnation. Like we need it to grow.
Couldn't agree more.
I want to say that was very magical to Wonderwall playing in the background. It's like,
I can hear that,
just getting like so much more passionate. It's like,
it's like
this is where we need a camera operator just slowly zoom in on you as you're giving this speech. I agree with you, and I mean I've talked about it a lot, but I think it is, you know, it's going to be an interesting offseason for the CEBL. I anticipate there will be changes to some degree. I know there's a want to expand, but I also I don't know how quickly it's going to come, right? Like Kelowna obviously really wants a team, and they showed out really well. Still don't know what's going on with Quebec City, right? They were there, and we kind of that's kind of hushed out a little bit. But I think you're right. The league's in a good state with 10 teams. You've got, you know,
It's balanced.
it's balanced
Conferences, yeah.
on the conference side, but you also have, like, as you say, there's things foundationally that we can improve. And I'll give the league a little bit of slack in the sense that it's a big turnover when you do lose your commissioner and founder from day one and then have a whole new team and trying to carry it over. Things happen late. You know, for a long time, we didn't know who the TV deal was with, right? And then, you know, they find out. Everything was really late this year. So I'll give a little bit of slack on that. But with that said, you have to learn, right? And I think now, you know, fans have voiced their opinions and their concerns. I think the league is open to it. I don't think it doesn't strike me as a leadership that's going to be hurt by this. I think it is a matter of, okay, but we got to take our sheet out now and check off what we're seeing and what we're hearing and make those adjustments now. You've got the nice thing about the CBL offseason is it's a long offseason.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time now that everybody's in place. Everybody's seen how it went. And the one thing that the leadership said when they were in Winnipeg was like, wow, like this is what the league can be and should be. And one day we'll say this is what the league is, right? But Winnipeg's been leading the way on that. Flexo, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
Who else wants to come? Reloan? Or Gregory? Gregory doesn't like to talk, so this might be a hard one for us. All right, we'll let Gregory get set up here.
Hello.
All right, Gregory, what's going on, buddy?
Hold on.
Here, we're gonna mute this here so we're not.
Yeah, it's tough setup over here.
It is tough. It is tough, but we're getting through it, everybody. We're getting through. All right.
Can I say something a little bit in the interim?
Yeah, go for it.
Man, I just
I'll squeeze in a little bit, Gregory.
Oh,
Nice and tight. There we go.
Oh.
Don't get distracted by your handsomeness here. All right, what were you gonna say?
Man, I was just gonna say, like, just to the city of Winnipeg here, like, just talking about this championship. Everybody's talking about the everybody who had a huge part in it and getting the crowds out. Man, it just speaks to how incredibly special this city is. The best sports city in Canada, best city in Canada. It's absolutely unbelievable to see the support and just it's exactly what people said. It's the community. It's what makes this place so incredibly special. It's the fans who show up and are so recognizable that we see all the time. It's not just the number of them, it's how passionate they are. It's like you look at the comment section, it's people who are watching the away games. You know, there's a lot of fans at the other teams where, like, yeah, like I'm not discounting them as fans, but hey, you know, it's like they're going to the home games. They might not be watching the away games. Like they might not be watching the YouTube stream of the game. See, we got fans who are just really special and doing that kind of stuff. And
watching
Winnipeg,
other
man,
games.
That's
The other thing. Like people, like there's the Winnipeg fans watch the entire league.
That's the
which
thing.
Is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just shows like that's how we're able to do awesome stuff like this. It's how we're able to build communities. It's just it speaks to this city, man, and it's just incredibly special. And Winnipeg, you guys deserve it, man. Unreal.
Just before we get to Gregory, because I said, Reloan, are you going to come on? And he's like, no. Because then I realized in the chat, he's taking shots here. He says, yeah, notice for team-related events needs to get better, like podcast schedules. Fair. Like what? Yeah. Fair. Yeah, no, that's, and I think that's all things that'll get better too. And it was a lot of turnover for both. But you're right. These are things that I hope are being taken into account, and you know we can move forward with it. And it's something here for us too. That is something that we're hoping to get a little better with as well in terms of having that consistency. We tried Wednesdays, and it felt like after week 2, we're like no one's available on Wednesday anymore, right? So, but no, I 100%. Gregory, how are you, buddy?
Nothing much. This will be a very, very busy day. In terms of sports and non-sports related for me in the next 24, 36 hours, basically. So, yeah, kicking it with Sea Bear Nation here.
Thanks for making the time, buddy.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So how do you feel now the season's over? Because you're a guy that likes to be critical, but they came through this time around.
True, because when we signed Teddy Allen, I had Teddy Allen when he basically destroyed the whole team and
in 24
and then until I will say the voice of the Sea Bears, DB, I'm putting in the challenge where DB should be at this event here.
Darren Bombing wanted to be here, but he couldn't be here, unfortunately.
Okay, so I will give him I'll forgive him on that. but when he said that Terry Allen has changed and he's more mellow, I will say good. I'll say good, and then that basically, I will say, certified when that fateful incident at the Palomino Club in regards to that situation. When I saw the videos, it's okay. He has changed. This is a new Teddy Allen. So my heart goes out to him, and I to this day I will say. Speaking of that, I have a conspiracy theory on the MVP.
Oh, we're getting conspiracy.
MVP award,
Okay.
which I basically DM message you on that. And for people who are on the Winnipeg Sports Talk Discord, I put it out in that fashion. But I'll tell it to you anyway. If we had an MVP ladder type of format, such as what they do in the NBA with the Kia MVP ladder, Terry Allen was probably, I will say, a 60, maybe 55, 60% lock for the award. Up until he went up against a team full of jackrabbits known as the Ottawa Blackjacks. In that game, he put up 9 points. That was basically a stinger. I'm not talking about the Edmonton team. Then that basically gets compounded when your old but new again player called Xavier Moon puts up 29. That basically opens the door for Miles of Scarborough to walk in and steal it in the last 2 games with 27 and 19 respectively.
Yeah.
So that's why I will say I could guarantee you I have a sixth sense, or kind of like Mel Gibson in the hit movie called Maverick. I think that
That's a great reference.
yeah. So I have a sixth sense that vote was basically close. If it was a runaway,
I don't think it was
like a runaway train,
Yeah.
then we have major issues in regards to how the MVP voting is done in the league. As well as I'll take one more comment suggestion. We need to move this league up 1 month earlier, because it's basically because anytime that a team such as our team goes on a playoff run, it's basically an on tradition. We lose 2 or 3 players on a playoff run. So I think the league needs to have their champion crowned by, I will say, August long.
Okay.
In terms, and then that's where I will say any players who have overseas commitments can fully fulfill their obligations.
Fair.
So, yeah.
I'll say this: it's not that like the league would do it if it were that easy, right? Like it's hard because it's a summer season. It's not long, so even if they do offer a good amount of money, it's hard to pass up, because these teams do put a lot of pressure on these guys, like to the point where they'll say, if you don't report to training camp, they'll terminate the contract and get the next guy there, which could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So that part will always be a thing with the CBL, that there's going to be players coming and going. It's just the way that'll go. And I will say though, with the MVP voting, let's not forget that Miles Powell was the best player on the best team in the regular season, because playoffs don't matter. I do think it's kind of shifted. Okay. 1 second, though. I do feel it's shifted a little bit, because we're making it sound like this guy was a 6th man off the bench. Like, I know it's tough, and we're in Winnipeg, and everybody wanted Teddy to win. I still think Teddy is the MVP, but I don't think it was a close vote, and I also don't think that Miles Powell wasn't totally undeserving of it, if that makes sense.
Well, okay, but if you run the numbers, Powell's last 5, according to Teddy's last 5, it's basically, I will say, in the words of UFC, it's no contest. It's not a fair fight, basically. But if you look at but I think that the voters who voted for Miles basically voted on the momentum piece that they saw too, that Miles finished very, very strong. Like the horse that won the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness this year had a strong kick during the last few 2 games of the season, and basically eked out Terry Allen by a nose. in terms of giving the MVP to the team that has the most wins, that's where I will say that we get into confirmation bias, imposter syndrome bias in regards to awarding an award to the best team who accomplished the most wins on that corresponding team.
Yeah.
If that was the case, you would have seen a steady run of MVP awards that Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors fame, LeBron James, every single could be an MVP in every single year, and you would have probably seen a steady run in the 1990s of Michael Jordan winning MVP when he did not that he did not win those titles in the 1990s and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's based as well as if we were to do that, it would. God only knows if this was a situation, if it was in other sports like such as college football and stuff. So it would be like a hard to do and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Panomi also brings up a great point. Teddy played in all 24 games, right? And still had a higher score. Not only did he score more points, he had a higher average in points scored. What's that? Well, there were a couple of incidents throughout the season, but that's what I like. That was my argument too. That Dylan was asking, why didn't he play? But that was my thing too with him. My thing with him was you're taking value away if you're not on the floor. Like that to me was a nod to Teddy.
Yeah.
Like Teddy,
100%.
again, it's a regular season award, so the playoffs don't matter. So it is what Gregory. We got to get to Smirkio before the sun goes down.
Okay.
So you have one last thing to say?
No, I will say.
Team in Halifax.
Team in Halifax. That's why I say because Halifax, Nova Scotia, is a crazy basketball town in the Atlantic region and stuff with AUS universities and stuff there. So,
Yep.
Plus they have a ready built. They have a
Right downtown.
They have a good building, Halifax Metro Center. I'm using the old name, home of the
Mooseheads there.
Mooseheads of the QMJHL and the Halifax Thunderbirds of the National Lacrosse League. It's a very and it was basically the home, and people did a lot of people will know that was basically the home a long time ago in the olden days of the men's national championship for CIAU.
Yeah.
CIAU days, and they have a long history of basketball in that region. So
Yeah. Great basketball city,
Yeah.
great basketball province. Gregory, appreciate you, man.
You too.
Thanks for coming on. And Smirkio, you wanna come on here? Everybody's stoked because
Guy.
no one has seen Smirkio
No bigger
outside of
Seabears
this
fan than
live
this
crowd.
guy right here.
Just be careful you don't knock the camera here on your way in.
What's up, dog?
Whoa, Smirkio. Jeez, you might get a run for your money here, Flexo. I don't know if we're gonna get Smirkio to fit in frame here. All right. You're gonna have to come get in right and tight here with us. There we go. Flexi or Smirkio, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Good to see you. How you feeling?
I'm good.
Yeah. Let's go back here now. It was the season. You're a diehard Seabears
Yeah.
fan. How do you describe this season?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
How did you feel when they pulled it off? Did you
Oh.
believe the whole time, or did you have a little bit of doubt?
a little bit of doubt.
Yeah. At least you're honest. But you were in the building for the? No, you weren't. You were
like,
flying.
I was in the air.
Crazy
Oh,
story with this guy.
Air Canada
Boo.
Wi-Fi.
It's getting booed. No, man, you were watching it on the flight.
Yeah.
So take us through that. Were you sitting beside someone? Were
My
you in the middle
girlfriend.
seat?
I was in the aisle seat.
Oh, thank goodness. She was in the middle seat?
Yeah.
Oh, what a jerk.
She was like
Guy.
taking a picture of me, like watching the game
That's all.
Love that.
That's all. Okay, so
Did it lag on the flight? That's my first question.
the whole time.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's terrible. That's what I was worrying about. You were texting me, and I was like, "Oh man, this guy's watching a
Yeah, you guys
laggy,
spoiled it
biggest
for me.
Seabears fan in the world. He's watching a laggy stream on a flight."
Spoiled it for me. 2 minutes ahead.
So what's it like? How does that like? What was the reaction in a plane? You're probably the only one watching it,
Yeah.
other than your girlfriend.
I was dorking out, but I was like kind of crying.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I wanted to not look like I was crying.
Hey,
Hey,
man.
bro, I cried on the court after the game, man. I wouldn't blame you.
Nice.
There's fan videos that have me just like waving my towel in the air. I got the media pass on, and I'm just there. I'm yelling at fans. I'm jumping in the crowd. Yeah, it's like so. Yeah, no shame there, man.
But you look at like
I was the
even
guy.
last year, right? Because last year was the year I think we were all kind of like, well, we're in the conference final, like all, and they had an all-star team, and then they lose in the conference final. Like, do you feel this is a bit of redemption? Because I asked David Asper about that, and he's like, it's not going to replace what happened last year. It's nice that we won, but last year was a disappointment through and through. How did you feel about this season compared to like as it compares to last year?
Big time redemption because we had the team to do it, but couldn't pull it off.
It's who do you think who's your X factor in this one? Like Xavier Moon, but
X.
he only played 5 games. Is that your guy?
X, yeah.
Yeah. Who's your favorite player on this team?
DJ,
DJ. What is it about DJ?
because he's like a spark plug.
He's a spark plug. The other thing that I like about DJ, always positive.
Yeah.
Like his emotion, I think like twice this year, like he was pissed off, like when he was there. But most of all, like all of his energy is positive, and it could be in the first quarter, and he'll start pumping the crowd up like it's 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
They just got the like the loose ball possession and to seal the game kind of thing, which I love that. Just wanted to bring this up. LOL. I can't remember. They said who this was. You can remind me on the chat. I can't remember who this is, but says going back to the MVP, best player on best team, like that. Going back to that debate, I agree. Like that not that should have been the MVP, but I agree that it's not crazy. Matt Bonomi says so. Smirkio does really exist.
Yeah, I do.
Steve
Matt,
Nash.
I do
Actually,
exist.
that's what he. That's exactly what he says here,
Deserve
just like
both
the
those
Nash
MVPs.
MVPs.
Hot
Yeah,
take.
Kobe should have
totally.
been MVP that year.
Totally. Okay, so what's your feedback on the season? What, like, now we're going in the off season. Like, what are you looking forward to next year? What changes do you want to see? What do you want to see stay?
I want to see X stay, obviously.
Yeah.
Like mostly, I want the same like team almost. You know, you got main guys like McGowan's, DJ, X. Who else? Who else?
Do you think? Well, you got Trey McGowan's. I'd love to see Jeremiah Tillman Jr.
Oh, yeah.
back.
I don't think we'll bring him back.
But that's what I was saying though. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it's a whole new team that's just as good or better. Like, because the thing with too is like you look at guys like Trey McGowan's and Jeremiah Tillman Jr. Who knows where they go next?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like these are guys like they're trajecting this way, not that way. Like, and Xavier Moon has already like been there, done that, and now he's just trying to enjoy the rest of his career.
For him.
Totally, and he's just trying to win
He's at the peak,
championships, and he's at his peak. But the other guys, it's tough because what if a Trey McGowan's gets a 10-day in the NBA, right? Like Jackson Rowe was a guy that could have very well been here too, and there were plans to bring him in, but then
Come here next year.
well, he signed his NBA contract that it was done, right? So, Xavier Moon, what was your favorite part aside from the championship? What was your favorite part about this season? Tuning into the Target Score podcast all the time.
Oh yeah. After games, we get home. My favorite part was every target time for some reason.
You know what? Because target time this year felt like target score time in 2023.
Yeah.
Because
like-
most of the home games, aside from what was it, 2 losses that we had this year, 3?
Calgary and
Calgary, Brampton, and I think that was it.
I
right?
wasn't in the
Brampton
building for
one
Brampton,
sucked.
thankfully.
Yeah, and those were the 2 national games, ironically. But it felt like that because they were usually going into target score time with the lead.
Yeah.
And they didn't mess around. Like there was like maybe like one game where it took even in the championship game, it felt like it took them a while to close it out. But this year it was like when target score time came, it felt like they wrapped it up real quick.
Oh yeah.
All right. Do you have any last words that you want to say to all of your fans in Target Score Nation,
Hi,
including
Chris.
Matt Bonomi? Oh, hi, Chris.
Hi, D.
Love that.
You forgot Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Where's Taylor?
Well, you know what? Cousin Tay decided he wasn't going to. No, he had another commitment. He thought he was going to be able to make it, but he
Not
couldn't make
committed
it.
enough.
Well, tell it to the camera. Tell it right to
committed
Cousin
enough,
Tay.
Call him out.
He's
Cousin
watching
Taylor.
right now. You know, you thought you were crying in the plane. Cousin Tay's all tears right now for sure. But no, cousin Tay was really bummed out he couldn't be here. So it is what it is. But hey, dude, thanks as always for the support and being here and doing this, man. That was fun. Anybody else? Reloan's camera shy. That's what I'm learning about Reloan. You're not? Not? Okay.
You know what, Joey? You know what we
Is
have?
it me?
You know what I haven't covered? or what we haven't covered that I think we need to talk about here, which I think is interesting. The two guys who had to leave for European or for outside commitments, Manuel Acott and Jeremiah Tillman Jr. Does that hurt their chances of being brought back next year? Because to me, I think it does. If I had to guess, and this is no information, like this is nothing like that, purely my own speculation, I do not think Emmanuel Acott is being brought back next year.
I can.
It's 2 straight years in a row, and the first one, obviously, like we can totally. Both ones are understandable, right? Where it's like,
Let's throw this one to Stat Guy Ty.
Yeah.
Stat Guy Ty, what do you think about this situation? Do you think Jeremiah Tillman and Emmanuel Acott are back?
If I'm being honest, I think I still think Acott has that possibility of coming back. I think the fact that he came back this year is kind of an indicator that he's still liked within the organization.
Yeah.
Because I think last year's departure had a bit more of an issue regarding why and how it was.
That's good. Oh, there we go. See, he's like, no, it's good. He's like our Wilson from Home Improvement. You only see him from here up. You could come in. It's going to be too tough to get everybody in here.
Jump on the other side.
No, it's up to you. All right, I'll mute you while you're doing that, so it's not. To your point, though, I will say it depends on the situation and who's available.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a decision made. What we've learned about this organization, I guess the one wild card is that Mike Rainbow's now the. There we go. Mike Rainbow is now the general manager, so it's not Mike Taylor anymore. So who knows? But I will say, from at least an ownership perspective, David Asper's not shied away from bringing people back, right? Because Emmanuel Acott, when he left, man, we thought Teddy was a big deal. Like when Manuel left to go play for South Sudan, that was big news.
Oh, and then he came back like a month later.
And I was one of those guys like, there's no way he's coming back.
Man,
but it was good for the team. So I think that's what we got to come all the way back here.
David Asper's about winning, man. And can I just say, like, just one thing about David Asper that I don't think a lot of people know, it's that he was involved in the ownership group for both of the previous.
Can you pass that over to Gregory? I forgot to give him his.
Like, he was involved in the ownership group in both of the previous Winnipeg basketball teams that we had, for both the Cyclones and the and Thunder. Like, he was there and part of it. And for him to finally be here for all this, it's a guy who.
You guys both have to come in here.
Oh,
here we go.
Right
in here, Stat Guy Ty.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Me too, man.
All right. We'll unmute you here now that we're good. No, I agree with you. I think for those guys coming back, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they are or they're not. Again, I think management also understands. Like I could be wrong. This isn't anything that I've looked into or I've dug into. Maybe there is a backstory, but for me, they understand that this is when players go. Trey Scott left, and that was all on good terms. Obviously, you don't want to lose him, but you can't take away the opportunity either. So, and honestly, like Emmanuel Acott, he doesn't always pop on the stat sheet, but he does so much for that team. He's a big size guard. He's a guy, who does the little things. Talk about DJ Burns. He's also a spark plug, but sometimes he goes on the negative side, where he gets a little like, I don't want to say whiny, but like, sometimes it gets a little too much like talking to the refs and things like that. But, if you can find another guy, then sure. But the other thing, too, is one thing this team does value is local talent. And he is that. But we've said this before on the podcast. Of all the Winnipeg guys, Emmanuel Acott is the guy that I feels like sometimes I have to remind myself he's from Winnipeg, right? Like you don't see him in the community as much as you do with the Simon or as you did with Chad. Like even, Kyler kind of felt that way, too, to an extent, right? So I wouldn't be shocked if they don't come back, but I wouldn't be totally surprised if they did either. But again, it's just so hard to predict. Someone in the chat, it's too far up now, but someone in the chat had asked like for predictions. I'm like, that's like the one thing I could never do. I couldn't predict who's going to be on this team next year. It's too much of a thing.
I'd be willing to throw out some guesses. Like,
go for it. Personally,
if I had to guess, I think Xavier Moon's coming back. I'll go on record with that right now. It's the most optimistic one. But right now, if you could bet on it, that's what I'd say. I think Simon Hildebrandt's going to come back.
Hildebrand is like the one that's fair to say.
Foregone conclusion, as long as things work out, I'd say.
He will come back every year until he can't come back. Like it's going to, and when I say that, I mean it's going to be like Division One in one of the top European leagues. I wouldn't even count out NBA, but like it would be something like that where he like contractually couldn't come back. I think would be the big thing.
Yeah. Can I just say, I love the note in the chat here. Somebody saying, bring back Ben Stevens.
That's excellent.
Was that you?
Undefeated
Yeah,
in the
I
Ben
love that.
Stevens era.
Undefeated. So I just want to say about Ben Stevens really quick. What a guy. The dude is awesome. One of
Yes.
the nicest people you will ever meet in sports. You know, I've met a lot of athletes over the last few years doing this, and I could count on one hand the number of people I thought were nicer than Ben Stevens.
So
what a
for-
guy. Just
for
wanted to shout him up.
People
for that.
out there,
What a
like,
guy.
who's Ben Stevens? He was a late signing who didn't actually play for the Sea Bears. Might have been brought in.
He's getting a ring, though.
Yeah.
He's getting a ring.
And
CBL champion, Ben
he
Stevens.
played with Montreal for a few games, but I'll say this. When I went in and saw the players after the game, Ben Stevens comes up to me and he goes, undefeated in the Ben Stevens era, 3-0. I was
What a
like,
beauty.
I like that. And to me, like going to your point, that's a culture guy.
Yeah.
Knew what he was brought in for, wasn't sulking that he wasn't playing, knew the role that he was playing. And the other thing too, if you follow these guys on social media, he was out hanging out with the guys.
Mhm.
Like it felt like he was there all year. Like he had his championship hat on with the other guys, and they were out, I think, at the beer can, and they were out at the Forks. And I thought for a guy to come in with a team that was in essentially turmoil, because he came in, I thought they're going to use this guy. He's like the one big they have. I thought he might even start just for the tip off, if nothing else, right? Doesn't play, but he to me was the perfect pickup for that team to come in and fill in. Not sad, and I would not be shocked if we see that guy come back, depending on what happens.
Love
but I think that's a guy that's happy to play a role. He's not Jeremiah Tillman Jr. by any stretch, but I think he's a guy that can give you solid, 5-10 minutes if needed more. Play solid, but not sulk when he doesn't get the playing time. It's that guy time.
And I think it's also kind of funny. He comes from Montreal, the team in the East that did not make the playoffs, to, as we said, now he's got a ring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's happy.
Especially when it was right at the end of the season. It was the
And-
last day of the season signing.
Any professional athlete will tell you every player on the team from top to bottom plays a role, even if it's not on the floor. Like it does take a cohesiveness. Also, here's your paycheck for the season. Sorry, it came super late. Stat guy Ty / part-time AP for us. Appreciate all that you do for us, Ty. Glad we can get you on here on the podcast. You're a guy that is obsessed with stats, loves this league, loves basketball. What do you want to see this offseason?
I think everybody else kind of said it. I want to see kind of more of that clarity. What is the plan? We had with the finals, how it went from 3 games to 1 game. I think the case that, yes, they did what they had to, given the situation. But aside from having somebody come out and actually speak to it and not just say, refer to the statement, we stand by our statement, is have that accountability to be able to, actually stand behind your statement by reinforcing that by putting yourself in front of the camera to do that.
Yeah.
To just say, I stand behind my statement. Okay, but are you standing behind your statement because you don't have anything more?
And I would have just liked, there was enough meat. I'll say this. I do feel like if this were in Winnipeg, that would never happen. But let's just say something like that happened. I think there would be more pressure to come on and say something. I think the fact that it was in Brampton and they weren't sure what to do, and, we were just kind of getting who we could. But I thought when they were asked, it would have just been nice to someone come out to say, hey, this is what happened. This is what we're doing moving forward. And it's going to be a 1-game thing. Even though it said it in the statement, just come out and say it confidently that everybody knew. I agree with you 110% on that. And we'll see what happens. Like there's going to be changes for sure. And there'll probably be a little bit of restructuring. But again, and the other thing for me is just don't forget this is a Canadian league.
Yes.
I think that was the other thing now.
Huge.
When we start hearing about the American creep that's coming in, and more than half our league is Americans, they've added import spots. One of the things that's fresh on, Oren Weisfeld's pointed this out in his article, is taking away the Canadian rule, which I think is a bad idea, and having
Terrible
2
idea.
Canadians on the floor at all times.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes about. But nonetheless, this has been going on for like an hour and 15 minutes. Sun's out. We don't have lights, so I think we're about to wrap this up. Any final?
I do actually want to bring up one thing as well, just because I haven't brought up really a stat today.
Oh,
Okay.
stat of the day
Let's
from
go.
Stat Guy
Let's
Ty.
go.
Rolo, and that was really funny too. Ben had a great warm up. He was great in warm ups.
He really did. I was there. He was out there early, man. Ben Stevens was. He always Nasty post hook, Ben Stevens.
All right, so
All right, so with this set, I kind of also want to ask is Winnipeg's playoff run, where does that compare with, say, the other champions in the league?
Ooh.
Where do you put that?
It's up there with Niagara's first title. The only difference is it had more of a Cinderella aspect because Niagara was a team like before Winnipeg was in. Niagara was always good, right? They were kind of like Vancouver is now. Vancouver's the new Niagara. Niagara was that team where people started wondering, like, hey, will this team ever do it? Can they get over the hump? Is Khalil Ahmad enough, right? And then they won 2. And I feel like this feels a lot like that first one where the expectation wasn't there, was a bit of a surprise, but now the pressure's on. Can they make a run as well? But the other thing is, if I'm taking the lens off of Winnipeg right now, I'm really interested to see what happens in Vancouver because they're going through a major culture shift there with Kyle Julius not coming back, and that was confirmed on the Target Score Vancouver podcast with Chris and Andrew. Their president came on and said he's not coming back, and they're going to give everybody a good look. And this is a team that's used to success except for a championship. So my eyes outside of Winnipeg are on Vancouver for sure. But I think this run, to go back to your question, it's kind of in a league of its own. And I don't think that's crazy because it's only the 8th season, right? So I think like it's hard to compare it to anybody because we've not seen a team that has won with that stretch of start to finish.
So it's like I think the only one that I can really think of if we went kind of in terms of kind of dominance, you could kind of compare it to 21 Edmonton.
21 Edmonton, you say? Okay.
With how they just kind of ran away with the final.
Yeah.
You know, that big 30-point game, whatever it was against Niagara.
That was the second season with Xavier, right? That's his last season.
Well,
yeah.
his
third season,
yeah,
second championship. Sorry, yeah.
The only other one I have too is the Summer Series 2020 playoffs.
Okay.
So here's where the stat comes in. Edmonton that year won both playoff games by double figures.
Edmonton won both playoff games by double figures.
Yes.
Okay.
They're the only other team to win the title that way. Winnipeg is the 4th team in playoff history to have multiple double-digit wins. Winnipeg won all 3 games by double digits. They're the first team to do that.
Stat guy Ty with the stat of the day. That is probably the most comparable for sure. It's tough with that 2020 season because it was so weird. Because the other thing, Winnipeg did it. This is only the second season in a 24-game season. Right?
Yeah,
so that's the other thing. Like they also had that extra runway that honestly could have cost them. Realistically, you take out those last 4 games, they're looking a lot better going into the playoffs, right?
So they're also the first team that has to win 3 games guaranteed to win the title, whereas prior seasons you can get that first seed, you're straight into the conference final. You only have to win those 2 games. You have an entire week off.
Yeah. I just want to get to these before we go. John McTavish, I think Gene said the same thing. As much as I would love a best of 3, the excitement of that winner take all cannot be duplicated. And I did like the idea of the finals. I'm not like totally over it, but part of me was like, it was nice to know that you were going to the game and you were going to see the trophy awarded. That was kind of fun. Gregory seated on this.
12,500 people.
Yeah.
Would not survive if this series went 3 games. In terms of,
to be fair, I think, yeah. Gregory's going off that he doesn't think that the 12,500 people survive. I'll take you a step further. I don't know if it's 12-5 if game 2 is not a deciding game.
That's what I was going to say.
I think people would have been like, I'm just going to hold my breath that there's a game 3. And if there's a game 3, then I'm going to go. You were in that same boat?
If Seabears won game 1, I would say it's okay. I'm looking for tickets for game 2. If Brampton won game 2, then I'm hoping, God's willing, the box office would have been open.
Yeah.
At the end of game 2 for people that buy their ticket for game 3, and then you go home.
Fair. I appreciate your projection because it's like you're wearing a mic. I can hear you so clearly. That's awesome. Appreciate you, Gregory. Drakenator says, "Happy we're champs, boys." And I'll end this one because I think this is the most important one. This is from Dylan. Cannot get rid of the Canadian Thule.
100%.
He means
You-
rule.
You are
There
right.
it
We
is.
cannot get rid of Chris Wiggins.
No, yeah. Chris Wiggins catching strays from Stat Guy Tie. All right, let's wrap it up here. Vic, we've been poor guy stuck in the middle. It's like everybody's talking.
No, you're good, man. No
Any
worries.
final thoughts here? Thanks for filling in. Winnipeg Sports Weekly on Instagram. Let us know what you're up to and anything you want to say to close this out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I just want to say just one final thing to some of the unsung heroes. And I tried to tell as many of them as I possibly could after the game. I was just feeling, as the biggest Winnipeg homer around, I was feeling really, really sentimental and just emotional after the game, watching this many Winnipeggers celebrate a championship and just be happy. And there's nothing that makes me happier than just seeing this city together in the community and everything. And I went back and I tried to tell every single Seabears staff, whether that be just somebody on security, whether that be one of the massage therapists, whether that's our friend Dylan over there, trainer, busting his ass all season long. Those people were so integral to this championship. That stuff matters so much. And like, yeah, you know what? We talk about the players. We talk about Xavier Moon, Finals MVP, Mike Rainbow. What a job he did behind the bench. If we didn't have people like Dylan over there running around doing everything that needed to be done for this team, none of us would have that. The city wouldn't be champions right now. This is all of yours. That's it. That's my final note.
Appreciate that. And hey, round of applause for you guys too for coming out, and for those that came out at Mondays. I know a lot of people in the chat wish they were here. Again, it wasn't a ton of time to get it out there, but I appreciate you guys for making this out here and supporting the podcast as always. So for one last time this season, thanks everybody for tuning in, and follow us on Target Sport Pod on Instagram, Target Sport Podcast. Watch the replay. Thanks, appreciate it. Joey Slattery TV. We'll see you next season and in the off.